Hey Hollywood Hills fans, and welcome to another show. Now, me and the LiveX lads have been talking about these shows and calling these ones holding patterns. We've done this before to you guys, and the reason for this is we just filmed the GXCCs this weekend, and it was an epic race out at Verena, the penultimate round of the championship. But of course, as soon as we get home, the lads have got to start marking and we've got to start editing as well. So for this week, it's just a little short holding pattern Hollywood, but I'm going to focus in on what happened 2 weeks ago, and that was the wrap up of the national championships for the cross countries, where a lot of our GXCC races were out there. We'll climb the ladder starting out with the 85s, where Kobus Bester took his first ever full national title in the 85s. So well done, little Bester. He's on his way up big time, and he's had his first taste of a full national championship season as well, so he's prepped now going forward into 2022. In the Masters, big story, because the last few years has been the war between Wayne Farmer and Peter Hall. Then last year, Wayne managed to clean house once again, but this year he's had an up and down season, lots of injuries, lots of crashes as well. And the guy that benefited from all that is Greg Nan, the guy that is on a 300 smoker, very much in the mold of Wayne Farmer, but more on the enduro side. But he decided to enter both championships and won both championships. So Greg Nan is your Masters title holder at the moment. Then moving forward into the seniors, no big surprise. It is the super senior that is Wade Blau. That is another '1 plate. I think that's 4 in a row that he's got right now as well. So he is the man to beat, and he's in seniors for a long time now. He is way far away from jumping up into the Masters. So the seniors better step up, and they have as well. I can see there's a couple of guys that are going to run him close next year, but it's Blau once again on the top of the steps. Then we move forward into the high school category. Now this is a little bit of a heartbreak story, because John Buerta came into this series as the standout champion, but unfortunately he had his problems at the beginning of the season, and even though he won the last 2 rounds, he lost the championship by 2 points to the very consistent Dylan Jones, another rider from KZN, another rider who is much better at the enduro and more extreme style riding, but he's still entered all of the championships as well because he had such a good ride at round #1. So Dylan Jones is a very surprise champion in the high school 125s. Onto the OR3s then, and it was Davin Cocker. It was the Davin Cocker show the whole way through the season, but Maddie Wilson was close. But at the previous round of the GXCCs, a big crash at the National as well took Maddie Wilson out of it. He was a no-show for the last round, and that meant that it was all about Cocker, who was able to nail down his first ever big national title, and he looks like he's going to try and defend that as well, as he signed with Husqvarna to go into OR3s once again in 2022. Into the OR2s then, and the big story of the season was going to be all about the brawl between Ian Rawle and Brad Cox, because last year it was kind of setting up that way, but Brawlo had an inconsistent season. This year he was close. In fact, at the halfway marker of the championship, it was tied on points. Then it was a real big swing where Cox kind of took control of the championship with 2 rounds to go and maintained his lead in that championship at the final round. So it was Cox that backs up 2 championships in the OR3s, adds an OR2 onto that. So where do we go from there? Is he going to stay in the 350s, or is he going to go full 450 for next year? We know he's going Dakar, but what's he going to do as far as cross country goes? But he is your new OR2 champion, with Brawler taking the #2 spot. Solid season for Brawler as well though, so he's definitely going to be a threat for next year. And then on to the big bangers. Now in the past it's been all about, Lawrence Mahoney back in the day, and then it was Ross Branch, and then it was Kenny Gilbert. There was a lot of players to watch out for, but this year was a big question mark. Jared Coetzee on the factory KTM came up, Brett Swanepoel came up, and Mike Pentecost really came up. He showed some form last year, and then this year he ran a tight budget off his own pocket, his wife and his dad looking after him. They bought all their parts and all their spares, and they had a pretty good first half of the season. So good, in fact, that he got picked up by the Kawasaki CIT Franchise Co squad, and then went on to win the last 3 rounds of the championship. Not only that, he actually took 2 overalls on the events as well. So he was in incredible form, and after a full season, a full championship of racing, it came down to between Mike Pentecost and Brett Swanepoel. Magic Mike took his championship by 1 minute and 4 seconds after a full season of racing, and that is just a huge story. A lot of those guys do race with us at the GXCCs, and a lot of them already actually wrapped up their championships at this previous event. But we won't talk too much about that. We're going to go back into the edit suite, make sure alles is mooi, and of course next week we go straight into the final round of Farm Jam. So get your entries in for Farm Jam. The guys have done a massive job out there at dirt tracks. We've got a full, proper, genuine hair scramble track for you guys. Get the entries in. That's really going to be the final round of the Farm Jams, and after that, all we're going to be thinking about is the last round of GXCCs. There's still plenty of stuff to talk about, plenty of things to review. So enjoy, and we'll see you guys out there as always.